Here's a thought, guys. What if someday everybody you know, everybody you love, starts disappearing one after the other? And the worst part is nobody even remembers them. Isn't that a haunting thought? That was the intrigue, that was the pull for me to read this book. And I read this book, and I want to tell you which book this is and how did I like the book. Hello, hi, namaste. It's Sunshine here. Welcome back, guys, to my channel. The Brown Sunshine is a debut novel by author Arvind Rishi, and this is a psychological thriller. Having read so many psychological thrillers, because that happens to be one of my favorite genres of all time. So I am always on the lookout for the best psychological thrillers, and when I came to know about this book, I was like, okay, I need to read it ASAP. However, I didn't start reading it ASAP because I was reading something else at that point of time. But as soon as I got done with that book, I picked up this book, I read it, and it was an experience like no other. Brown Sunshine is a story of Anthony Biswas, who is a pathologist by profession, and he's somebody, who cannot leave his past behind him. It's kind of, been tagging him all these years. So there was a particular incident that happened with him in college. Along with his college friends, and all of his other friends have kind of moved on and they are kind of happily settled in their lives. But Anthony Biswas finds it really hard because there are some loose ends. There are some issues that were never solved. There are questions that were never answered, and those kind of give Anthony Biswas sleepless nights even today. So there are two parallel timelines that run, one which is 2014 and the other one which is, I believe, 2022. These two parallel timelines run, and it's totally the psychological upheaval Anthony Biswas faces. There was a sort of an accident that happened when the friends went out on a college picnic, and a few of the friends went missing, and then a particular friend died due to some accident, and the whole situation around it, what exactly happened, nobody remembers. So it's kind of a very dicey, flimsy situation there. How come nobody remembers what happened? And Anthony Biswas himself, not being present at the moment, doesn't know exactly what happened. But some time after that, the woman he's in love with, the girl in college who he's in love with, Natasha, she also kind of disappears. And there are these friends who disappear, and others kind of just tend to forget all about them, as if like these people never existed. And all of them have now moved on, but Anthony Biswas finds it difficult to kind of just accept this and move on in life. After all these years, he decides that he wants the answers to all of these questions. What happened that particular day, and where have all his friends gone, and basically what's the story. So he wants to unearth the secret, whatever the mystery is, and he goes back to Darjeeling, to the same place where all of it started. And slowly there are clues that start coming up, and it starts to lead him to certain points. It starts to point towards certain people, and then there is the whole concept of the Shunya Council. Few of the things that I really liked about the book. So the first thing that I absolutely adored was the writing style. The author has done a commendable job when it comes to the writing. It shows that he's somebody who's done kind of enough research, who's studied the material, who knows what he's talking about, what he's writing, where his thoughts are going. The way he's articulated them is absolutely beautiful. He's got like a certain poetic approach to his writing. There's a poetic flair to the language, and that kind of keeps you engaged. It doesn't feel boring. And as a reader, I'm always on the lookout for the richness of language, and that's something that I found it here and there in bits and pieces, and I really enjoyed that. So that's as far as the writing goes. Next thing that I want to talk about, which I again liked, were the settings. The settings overall are quite gothic and eerie in nature, so it gives a slight horror feel and touch. And now that again being a very favorite genre of mine, I really enjoyed reading the book. So the way the scenes have been developed, and the way the twists and plots have been developed and crafted, it gives a very mysterious feel to a whole story. So that I felt was quite to my liking. Even it's your own land, you're able to relate to the settings better. So that again was a plus point for me. Next thing that I want to talk about are the characters. Now there's a lot of characters, but they are like interspersed through the plot here and there. The protagonist is Anthony Biswas, who is the main character, and he is an amazing character. I have not come across such a beautifully done character in a long time. For some reason, I have realized that of late authors focus more on the plot than the character development, and this is a very important element for me, which is the character development. Anthony Biswas is successful, but he is unhappy. He is present in one place, but he is mentally somewhere else. He looks quite calm and, like a person who knows his stuff, and, like somebody, who's basically sorted in life. But is he really? Because he looks one person, but inside of his head is a murky place. It's a mess. To be in there, to be inside Anthony's head is something which is not easy for everyone. And that's exactly what the author does. He takes the reader right inside Anthony Biswas's head to understand what he feels, to understand what he thinks, to feel his challenges and struggles as your own, to keep awake those sleepless nights with him. That I felt was incredibly done. No author in recent time, at least the ones I've read, no author has gone through the trouble or taken the pain to develop a character so impeccably. This character is flawed. He's got tons of issues, but that's the brilliant thing about him. You will not forget Anthony Biswas. He'll stay with you. At the same time, his quality of wanting to get at the depth of things, wanting to tie up loose ends. That's something that I could relate with, because as a person, if it leaves me restless if something is undone. So I could relate with it, and that's a character trait that I could totally feel personally mine. So in a lot of ways, Anthony Biswas is a beautiful character. He is done pretty well. Then there are other characters who are his college friends, but they are like just there to be a part of the plot. They do not have any significant role as such. There's Arvind, there's Natasha, there's Felix, Shivam, Prakriti, and a lot of these college friends. Of course, some of them have met with some or the other accident and they are not around anymore. But then there are a few other friends who eventually happen to meet Anthony Biswas toward the present times, that is after a few years of the incident, and they happen to have moved on in life, but not Anthony. So that's as far as the characters go. Overall theme of the book is based on this whole concept of people missing, vanishing. There's themes of love, loss. Grief is a very important theme across this novel. Grief, melancholy. So these are very prominent themes across the novel. So yes, it's dark in a lot of ways. It's not going to be everybody's cup of tea. It is a slow burn in a lot of ways. But once you soak into the story, once you start living Anthony Biswas's life, you will see how engrossed you are into the novel and how invested you naturally are into the book. Eventually, I think what I want to talk about is a couple of things that I felt could be better. So one thing, for example, the whole concept of Shunya Council, when it was introduced, I felt it came a lot late into the book, and by that time you are kind of already seeking a closure to the whole mystery, and then suddenly there's introduction to a whole new concept. So I felt that instead of so much of the building and running through Anthony Biswas's life and all the descriptions of the incidents that happened in the past, that those could have been shortened, and the actual concept, which was the Shunya Council, or where the whole brown sunshine concept is being introduced, that could have come a lot sooner, and the reader could have felt a lot more invested. The second thing that I felt was the descriptions could have been shorter. So in a lot of places, the descriptions are going on for like paragraphs and paragraphs, and there's a lot of dialogue and stuff happening that I felt could be shorter, and the book could have been a lot crisper. I'm going to end the review here. I hope that you watched the video right till the end. If you have, do not forget to hit on the like button. Do share your thoughts in the comment section below. I'll see you again in the next video with another awesome book to read. Until then, you take care, be reading, be inspiring. Goodbye.